Okay, so hi guys. I don't know whatever time it is where you are, morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you're saying this. Hi, my name is Tammy, and I'm the founder of Purplebook.ng. And today I'll be bringing you an interview with a current DAAD scholar. So if you don't know what DAAD is, it's the German government scholarship for international students. So basically, they would pay for you to move to Germany to study for your postgraduate program, master's, um, or PhD. So today we have with us Miss Dupe, who is a Nigerian and she's a DAD scholar. She was moved from Nigeria to Germany to study for her master's, and we'll basically just be picking her brain and understanding what everything was like for her. She would tell us about her experience, and all of the questions that you sent would be asked to her today. So if you sent in your questions, thank you for the questions, and you're going to definitely get your answers today. So over to you, Miss Tupe. How are you doing today?
Hello everyone, and thanks for having me. Thanks, Tammy, for having me. And I hope I can answer your questions. I hope I'm able to share my brain as much as you like it. And
Hmm.
yeah, hoping to share everything with you all.
Yeah, we are also hoping that you give us all the information that we need because people are dying to know. Okay, so let's not keep them waiting. Let's just dive right into the questions. So the first question is, what is the timeline? So can you walk us through the process, like from from application to first stage, second stage, whatever, like what is the total timeline for the scholarship application?
Yeah, so I was trying to think of how my whole process was. I
Yeah.
think the timeline to start the application and to get a response on
Mm-hmm.
if you were successful or not is about 4 months.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the first and foremost step was to check for my courses and check what course I'm interested in,
Mm-hmm.
and then I found a master's program for the course I'm interested in, and
Mm-hmm.
I checked the requirements. So then you fill in the application form, which is all done online
Mm-hmm.
for both your school and for both the DAD.
Okay.
You upload your required documents. I don't know if I need to say all the required
Yeah,
documents,
we'll
right?
definitely get to that part.
Yeah. So you upload your required documents. They send you a login information. You upload the documents, and then you get a response that, oh, we've received your documents, and then you know that your application has been successful. However, if there are some documents maybe it's not up to par with what they want.
Mm-hmm.
Because for me, I had a document that wasn't exactly what they wanted, and they asked me for it, and I
Mm-hmm.
got the document and sent it to them. So like it's that flexible.
Yeah.
But yes, it's important that you have all your documents and send this. And then yeah, that was so my application opened in October.
Mm-hmm.
I applied that same October. By January, I had gotten an email from the school asking me for interview.
Mm-hmm.
The interview was done online, and
Mm-hmm.
then by February, I had an interview with the school. And then I think after you have an interview with the school, if you are successful, they will now recommend you to DAD. Like, oh, okay, we are comfortable with this person. We want to enroll this person in our school, and
Mm-hmm.
then recommend you to DAD, or she should have the scholarship. And then by March, I had gotten a successful mail from the school that I have been enrolled in the school,
Mm-hmm.
that I have the admission rather. And
Mm-hmm.
then by April, I got a response from DAD that I have the scholarship. So I think this is about 7 months.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Give or take.
7 months, you know that you're
What?
successful. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, which actually brings us to the next question. Thank you for that one. So, if you calculate October, November, December, January, February, March, April, so about 7 months from when you apply to when you get a response.
Yeah.
So, this is another part that we want to understand. What are different stages? So, we typically know that deadline for DAD scholarship application is around October, November for the
Yeah.
next year. So, um, what would you say, or how would you say your own process went, like with the stages from application, how many interviews you did, what is the length of each interview, and then up until the final confirmation, and what you had to do after the confirmation that you've been successful? What other stages did you have to carry out?
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah. So, yeah, the application opens, I think, early October. It's very important. I think people miss this to apply early. It might
Mm-hmm.
not be as necessary, but it's important. So it closes November. Yeah, like I said earlier, I got the
Mm-hmm.
interview by January, February, which is about 30 minutes, I guess, interview. And they ask basic questions relating to your course of study, if it's related to what you want to do now, your work experience, if it's related to what you want to study. And then after you are successful, that is after the 7 months period, you've gotten a response from the school, you've gotten a response from DAD, then you have to enroll for the language course, the German language course. Yeah,
Immediately?
um by July,
Okay.
so you're asked to enroll for the German language course, which starts August.
Okay.
And so, yeah, when you get the scholarship response, you're already told that you would need to take a German language course. So it's not
Mm-hmm.
like it's just jump on you. Like
Yeah.
you are told that okay, you would have to take the language course, and this is not because your course will be taught in German.
Yeah.
It's just to help you integrate better. Like when you are in Germany, you should know the
Mhm.
basic things that are said for you to move around. So yeah, by August, the German language course starts and it runs for 2 months, August,
Mhm.
end of September,
Mhm.
and then by October, your master's program or what you enrolled for starts. So
Mhm.
this is like 1 year
Yeah.
for you to prepare yourself and apply and all of that. I hope I answered the question correctly.
Yes, you did basically. Like we always talk about people taking 1 year to do their whole application process. Once you want to start, like the journey on an average, it takes about a year. So especially with scholarships, it's important to know that people need to apply early, and then not because you're going to resume as early, it's most likely going to be like a year later. So that's very important to know, which I mean, you've also already answered what we should expect from each stage. So, which brings us to the next part, which I think is also something that is very important for a lot of scholarships. People, they are the scholars or the scholarship holders are usually told that they have certain duties. Maybe they have to be a representative. They have to do some maybe lead some clubs and all those things, or tutor. So I'd like to know, what are the requirements or what are the duties expected of a DAD scholar? So now you've gotten the scholarship, you've moved to Germany. What is expected of you while you're in Germany? Do you take on any sort of administrative role, or are there any extra duties that you have to take on as a DAD scholar?
Basically, I mean, I think the only duty expected of you is to study. I mean, you're paid to study
Mm-hmm.
so that you don't stress yourself.
Yeah.
So you are paid to study, pass your exams, do well, and there are rules to follow. Follow the rules, like don't do what you are not supposed to do. Like be a good representative of yourself, be a good
Yeah.
representative of DAD.
Yeah.
And these are like basic things that you should know.
No. Mm-hmm.
So there's no like extra, oh, you have to um yeah, there's no extra
Yeah.
duty expected of you. Yeah.
Yeah. That sounds like it's even easier, you don't
Yeah.
have to do any extra duty. So just go learn, pass your exams. Great. So talking about passing exams, what is the requirement? Like, is there a required grade that you have to have for you to sustain the scholarship? Because an average master's program in Germany is about a year and a half or up to 2 years. So this means that, and Germany fees are being paid per semester. And DAD scholarship also covers, I mean, you'd also see talk about covers a monthly stipend. So because this is like on a monthly basis and it's sort of rolling, what is expected of you when it comes to your grade for you to be retained as a scholarship student? Are you supposed to get a specific grade minimum for you to still be a student, or it doesn't matter, or is there a specific attendance rate? What are the things that they look out for you to retain the scholarship?
Um, Actually, not there is no requirement.
Really? So it doesn't matter what
So
your grade is?
actually, so I mean, you are paid to pass, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to stress yourself to work except you want to for the experience. And like they give you the scholarship and say it is for 2 years, right? So it's
Okay.
not like the other scholarships that, oh, if you don't have this grade, we won't give you
Continue.
money next month,
Yeah.
right? So it's for 2 years and it's only your duty and for your own conscience to study and pass
Hmm.
well, right?
Yeah.
But then if I mean, people face challenges, yeah. So if you are struggling and you fail a course, they won't say, "Oh, I'll take a scholarship from you,"
Ah.
right? They
Mm-hmm.
could only ask you, "Oh, what challenges did you face?" Because here we have a study counselor or
Mm-hmm.
study coordinator, and they ask you, "Okay, what happened?" And really, they expect you to finish your program in 2 years.
Yeah.
That's why scholarship is for 2 years, depending on your course, of course.
Yeah.
So the only duty or
Yeah.
expectation of you, yeah, is to finish your program in 2 years with
Within
good
the time
grades,
frame.
of
Yeah.
course. Yeah. But they won't tell you, oh, because you're not on the highest A grade, we would withdraw the scholarship. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This sounds juicier than expected. Okay. So no particular grade at all. No, we're not saying that you guys should go and then fail, but
Yeah.
use your conscience to pass your exams, but at least you know very well that there is no grade restriction that you have to get this or higher, maybe A in all of your grade, all of your courses or all that. So we know that now. Thank you. So which brings us to the next question. When it comes to requirements for the application, we've had a lot of people ask us, can a 2-2 graduate apply? Can someone who already has a master's apply? Like, so do you have an idea of, these things? We do know that I think they say like 2-1 and above, but do you know of any situation where there's been like, they've allowed maybe even a third class graduate or a 2-2 graduate or, someone who already has a master's? Like, what is the requirement pretty much? I think let's just sum it up like that. What are the requirements for a DAT scholarship?
Okay. Yeah. I'm not sure if Tutu can apply.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause so far, I've heard it's just first class and 2-1.
Yeah.
But this could also depend on the course, right?
Yeah.
Each course or different courses have their requirements. So it's important to not just dwell on, oh, this person said I need to have this. It's important to check the requirements of each course, which
Mm-hmm.
is always clearly there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And like for my program, you need to have at least 2 years work experience, which
Mm-hmm.
is related to the course you want to study.
Yeah.
Yeah. And your bachelor's degree, if you
Mm-hmm.
apply for master's, should not be more than, I think it's 6 years.
Okay.
So you shouldn't have graduated more than 6 years
Yes, yes, we
ago.
go. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's a requirement. Because recently I had someone that had graduated 10 years ago asking
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
And yeah, sometimes I'll tell people, I mean, try your luck.
Love. You never know.
I mean, if you've worked and done a lot of things and they're impressed, they might just.
Yeah.
So, I mean, sometimes I
Hmm.
tell people try your luck, but it stated 6 years at most, and then have a work experience related to
What
the
you?
course you want
Yeah.
to study.
Mm-hmm.
And other requirements, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, like for my course, which I think it's quite general,
Mm-hmm.
you will need to upload your CV,
Yeah.
which
Mm-hmm.
highlights your work experience, your
Yeah.
qualifications, and all of that. you would need English language proficiency
Mm-hmm.
because the course is taught in English, and
Yeah.
being an international program, there are people from different
Countries.
countries, different languages, and since the common language is English, so you need English proficiency.
Yeah.
Not necessarily IELTS and TOEFL. If
Mm-hmm.
you have that, fine, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it could also be a letter from your school where you did your bachelor's program saying that you studied in English. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And which I think is easy to get.
To get.
I
Well,
think,
Well, I think that depends on the school because the truth is, I think for private universities, it's easier for them to just give out these letters.
oh,
But so many
yeah,
times we've had clients who have said things like, oh, their school is charging X and X amount to give them this document, or, they're taking forever to get this document. Sometimes you realize that registering for IELTS and getting your results, which takes less than 13 days, is
yeah,
easier and faster for you that as opposed to trying to get that document. So you never know. You never know the situation of the person. So if IELTS is easier to get, then I would of course tell them, get IELTS. But if that document, like the English proficiency letter, is easier for them to get as well, then whichever works, they can get.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So what do you
actually.
recommend?
So it's just, I think it's just good for you to know all the options available for
Mm-hmm.
you and
Yeah.
work towards it. And yeah, also, you will need reference letter, academic
Yeah.
reference letter,
Mm-hmm.
work reference letter.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what else did I have to submit? So I
Motivation
submitted
letter.
an excerpt from my bachelor's thesis because it was
Yeah.
related to
Mm-hmm.
the course I want to study. So I think they asked for like course outline to show that, oh, what you did is related to what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So whichever document you have that shows that it's important, you upload it.
Yeah.
Um,
Motivation letter.
yeah. Oh, how to
Very
upload
important.
it. Very important. Yeah,
Yeah.
motivation letter. Very, 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 very important. Yes. And yeah. Um, have I covered everything?
Yeah, I think you've pretty much covered it. So
Yeah.
just to do a recap, you need your CV, you need your transcripts, bachelor's degree, you need let's just call it a bachelor's thesis summary, you
Yeah.
need a reference letter, both academic and professional. You also need your, I think it's called a module description, a document that
Yeah.
shows like
Yeah.
the details of what each course or each subject that you were taught in your bachelor's covered, so they can see the relativeness between what you've studied and what you're about to study. I think that pretty much covers it. And of course, your
Yes.
motivation letter, which is
Yeah.
important. Like, let them know what your motivation is and why they should give you the scholarship or even give you an offer of admission into this program.
Yeah.
Yes,
And
that
your
was,
certificate.
yeah, certificate, your bachelor certificate.
Yeah.
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 Okay, thank you very much for that one, which brings us to the next question. And the next question is very important, and it is what the requirements are or what the rules are for staying back. So, a lot of people and a lot of scholarships have the clause that you have to return to your country. It could be for a minimum of 2 years, or they just state it that once you're done, you have to return. What are the requirements for DAD? Are you expected to return? Are you allowed to stay back? Is it a period of time? What is the requirement?
Yeah. And I think this is another juicy fact that
Mhm.
there is no clause that says you have to go back to your home
Hallelujah.
country. Yeah. Because, I mean, not that I'm aware of, there's no clause that says you have to return to your home country because they actually train you to like be able to use what you have taught.
Mhm.
And if you decide, oh, I've learned so much, I want to take it back home,
Yeah.
very good.
Mhm.
If you decide, oh, after study, I want to work and learn more,
Mhm.
good for you. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, 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 I think we've had that one, which is very, very important. There is no clause. You are allowed to either stay back or move back to your country or move to anywhere of your choice. So there are no clauses with regards staying back or leaving the country after your program. So, Another question would be like, is your partner allowed to move with you? So you are the DAD scholar, you've gotten the admission, you've gotten the scholarship. Now it's time to move. Is your partner or even your kids, if you have kids, are they allowed to move with you?
Yes. So
Hey, bring in the husband, bring in the wife, bring the kids. Let's
right.
go.
And that's very interesting that you're going to study and you're bringing your partner with you. But very importantly, that you have to, when maybe you're applying for visa or when
Mhm.
during your application process, they will ask you, are you going alone or going with your partner or going with your kids and
Yeah.
all of that. So it's important to state that so that when you're applying for your visa,
Hmm.
they process it together because
Yeah.
there are cases of people that they started processing for their partner late
Hmm.
and then they are here and 1 year after their partner is
Oh,
not yet here, which is quite
okay.
sad because DAD allows you to come with your partner.
Okay.
And the another juicy fact is they pay you some allowance, they pay your partner some allowance
Mm,
alongside.
bring
So
the money.
he or she's coming and earning
Yeah.
because you are studying. So yeah, it's juicy.
Yeah, so that means it's important that you and your partner apply at the same time during your application. Is that so?
Um, you apply for your study, but
Mm-hmm.
you state that you want to travel with your partner
Okay.
and or kids.
And
Yeah.
then they apply later or the same time?
For yeah, they process it together basically.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So in since they are giving allowances to spouses, are these spouses allowed to take up full-time jobs or part-time jobs while you are studying? So while you're under this scholarship and getting all of this allowances, are your spouses allowed to work?
Oh yeah. So definitely, like you are studying and earning government's money, your spouse is allowed to work full time, and so I mean, I might not know the full details,
Mm-hmm,
right?
mm-hmm.
Because I came alone, but your spouse is paid till they get the full time job.
Ah, okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So obviously, when he gets a full time job, he doesn't
Get the allowance
get
anymore.
the allowance again. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I wouldn't even want to give you my money when I know that you have a full-time job. Why?
Yeah,
Why do that?
exactly.
Well, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, so in order not to make this too long,
Yeah.
we know what the current situation is like with a lot of African countries and visa processes. We know that it takes about a year or less, or 6 months to get like visa interview date. So what is it like, or what are the special treatments for like a DAD scholar? Because this is literally the German government giving you scholarship. Do you get earlier dates, and what is your own visa process like as opposed to others? Or at least I'm not sure, you might know of others, but what is your visa process like?
Okay. Yeah. So since like when I got my scholarship response in April,
Hmm.
immediately like by May, I already applied for my visa,
Hmm.
right? Because I mean, you don't know how long it take for you to get it, and they replied me immediately because yeah, there are different categories,
Yeah.
and definitely scholarship and first class students always like get higher preference. I
Priority.
say priority, yeah,
Yeah.
and they gave me an appointment for July,
Okay.
so yeah, so that's 2 months,
Hmm.
and within 2 weeks, I had
And
gotten my visa.
oh, 2 weeks.
Yeah,
There is
actually,
no, it sounds like there is no possibility of a rejection. Like,
yeah, actually, which is so interesting. And it's funny that before going for the interview, like, I mean, we didn't pay visa fee.
hmm.
I had already withdrawn my money, like,
Yeah.
okay, in case they ask me for it, but we didn't pay visa fee and we weren't really asked any questions. So they just ask, oh, what are you doing? Or what are you going for? Like, no rigorous interview process. And
Hmm.
then after 2 weeks, I got back my passport and documents, my visa stamps.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. Which, like, there are so many pegs. Like, if you ask me, I feel like this sounds like the easiest scholarship process I've ever heard about.
Yeah,
Like, it is
yeah,
so easy. It is so straightforward. That's one thing I like about German bureaucracy. They are very straightforward. If they say A, it's A, and they will do it. Like, they will stick to their
yeah,
words.
yeah.
But that's very interesting. Thank you for that one. So, I think one of the questions that I'll be asking is, what are the opportunities, like the work opportunities for DAD scholars during study? Are you allowed to work, and do you have any restrictions?
Um, so yes, you're allowed to work for a limited number of hours.
Mm-hmm.
So I think currently the minimum wage is 520. I think it
Mm-hmm.
was 450
450,
last,
yeah.
like, some months ago.
Yeah.
So you shouldn't earn more than, like, if you are working additional job, if you get a
Mm-hmm.
student assistant or part time or whatever, it shouldn't pay you more than 520. If you
Yeah.
get a job that pays you more than 520, right?
Mm-hmm.
Part of what DAD pays you, like the excess, will be deducted from what DAD
Oh.
pays you. So it's not
Hmm.
like they say, okay, if you get a 1,000 euro job, don't collect it. But if you
Yeah.
collect it, just know that the excess will be deducted
Yeah.
from what is paid to
Mm-hmm.
you. And yeah. So yes, you're allowed to work.
Which is actually fair. So there's a part of the DAD scholarship guide that says like that before you take up any job, you have to they have
Yeah.
to approve of it first.
Yeah.
So how does this work? Is there has there ever been a case, or is there a possible case that they would not grant you the approval that you need, and maybe in what circumstances would they not grant that approval?
Okay, yeah. So you have a study coordinator or DAD coordinator, and so when you apply and you get the offer, you should inform your study coordinator, who informs DAD, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they approve or not approve. So they will approve for you, given that it doesn't interfere with your studies
Mm-hmm.
and it's, I mean, within the required hours. And I've had cases of, or I've heard of cases where the person was rejected. Maybe the
Mm.
person got an internship and they didn't approve for the person to go and work
Yeah.
because maybe they feel like you wouldn't finish your study within
Mhm.
2 years,
Period.
right?
Yeah.
And so
Mm-hmm.
why should I sign you off when I know while you're working you won't be able to take the number of courses you should take this semester and you
Mm-hmm.
won't finish in 2 years? So the person will not want to sign you off
Find
and
that. Yeah.
approve, right? So those are the cases where it might be rejected.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so which brings us to the next thing. Now we've talked about work opportunities while studying. Are there any specific differences or opportunities for work opportunities after study for DAD students, DAD scholars, or do they just basically get the same opportunities that a self-funded student gets?
Actually, I think they get the same opportunity that self-funded students get
So all the
because
benefit ends once you graduate.
yes, actually, because I mean you're studying the same thing, so
Yeah,
you might only have like access to alumni students who can
yeah,
put you through, and I think self-funded students will
yeah.
also
Also
get
get
such
that.
access.
Yeah.
So yeah, there is no special treatment because you're a DAD scholar. No.
Okay. Oh well, sorry about that. Okay, so let's try to wrap this up. Thank you very much for all the amazing questions that you've responded to. So, I think it would be best to let our viewers go home with something, and that thing would be an advice. So, coming from you and your perspective, what advice would you give to prospective DAD scholars, or at least DAD applicants, people who want to apply for this scholarship, who want to move to Germany? What kind of advice would you give to them? And, do you think this also applies to other scholarships as well?
Yes, actually. And I think this will apply to all other scholarships and also, I mean, everybody in general, yeah.
Hmm.
Most importantly, decide what you want.
Hmm. Important.
And like, I applied for my scholarship in October.
Mm-hmm.
right? But from, I would say from June or July, I was already always on the DAD website,
Mm-hmm.
right? Searching for courses. So I had like a list of 5 courses that I knew I probably wanted. I
Mm-hmm.
wrote down the timelines, like when the application opens and when
Mm-hmm.
it closes.
Mm.
And this is very important because you'll feel like, oh, application opens October, and then that's when you start writing your motivation letter. That's
Yeah.
when you start trying to get all your documents. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
some things have to be prepared for and planned
Before.
for like
Yeah.
early enough. Get all your documents before, and so that when the application opens, like you're part of the first set of people to apply, which
Yeah.
might give you higher chance. And I think it's just similar to like the work environment. When you see a job opening, you want to be part of the first set of people to apply, whether it would give you
A
higher
higher
chance or
chance for
not.
more
But it's,
interest.
I mean, it only shows that you wanted this, you're
Yeah.
prepared for this. And secondly, um yeah, when after you get the scholarship, right,
Mhm.
focus on what you came to do.
Yeah.
I mean, like coming from Nigeria, like some of
Mhm.
us just want to come here, work, make money,
Yeah.
send money home, invest or whatnot.
Yeah.
Yes, those are important,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But study, focus on what you came to do. If you want to integrate, do it. If you want to focus on your studies, do it. If you want to learn skill, do it. But don't be all about making money, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because the
Yeah.
money will definitely come afterwards, but focus on what you came to do. And
Yeah.
additionally, I think this is very, very important that don't compare yourself with either your fellow scholars or the international students.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah, because if you are comparing yourself to make yourself do better,
Yeah.
that's fine. But if while comparing to them, you are feeling like uh, what's the word? You feel low about
Yeah.
yourself. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that would be bad, right?
Exactly.
Admire them, but don't compare yourself to them because, I mean, the teachings from your home country and from their
Mm-hmm.
home country is quite different.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's
So
true.
it's a different background. So yeah, I think that's very important because I mean I experienced it. I
Yeah.
mean in class I see them answering questions and I'm here like I wish I could also ask questions.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's very important.
Hmm. Okay. Thank you very much for that one. I think that's very key because especially with the educational system, it is so different per country. So all of the people that are coming together in one class have experienced different things. So you can't really compare yourself because you don't know what that person has experienced, the kind of life that they lived in their countries, and
Mm-hmm,
then
yeah.
comparing it with yours, and then being in a new place where it's like it's all new. So do what you can, work hard, work according to your pace, but just don't, like, compare yourself with anyone.
Yeah.
Another thing that I think maybe I would like to ask, maybe if anybody's interested in knowing, and maybe if that's something you would also like to share, what is the name of the program that you're currently studying? And we already know that you're in Germany. Would you also be willing to share the name of your school, so maybe if someone else is interested in this, they can also check it out?
Okay. Yeah. So my DAD program is the DAAD
Yeah.
equals scholarship, right? This is
Hmm.
for development related
Yeah.
studies. And
Yeah.
I'm studying development economics
Okay.
in University of Göttingen,
Okay.
Germany.
Okay, so if anyone out there is interested in studying development economics, you're interested in development related fields, then DAD EPOS scholarship is the
Yeah.
best one for you to take, or the best one for you to look into or look out for.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we've pretty much come to the end.
Yeah, I
Thank you.
think
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Tell me.
so. I just thought of something and I think I should chip it in because
Yeah.
I think I've had the question where people ask, when does the money start coming in?
Yeah, important. When does the money
Yeah.
start coming in?
So you get the scholarship, right? But
Mm-hmm.
you do not get your first installment until you are in Germany, because I mean it's important that it is paid into your German account
Yeah.
until your study begins. Like if your study begins October
Yeah.
and you get to Germany in October
Mm-hmm.
and you open your German bank account,
Yeah.
when you send it to them, you get your first installment, which covers your travel allowance, your research allowance, your monthly allowance.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah,
what about the German class? Because you get to do this, the
yeah,
German course is done before the start of your program. So what happens during the 2 months of the German course? Are you being paid during that time, or is that supposed to be self-funded?
yeah. So for we
Mm-hmm.
that came last year, it was
Yeah.
still COVID times.
Yeah.
So we did our German course online.
Okay.
That's before coming. But
Okay.
currently, people already travel from August
Yeah.
to do their German course in Germany. And
Mm-hmm.
so for us, we were paid digitalization allowance like with our first installment, which was
Uh,
500 euro. But
okay.
for those that have to come here, I mean, they pay them the
Yeah.
a
From that.
monthly stipend. I'm not
Okay.
sure of the amount for this one.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. That, I mean, that totally makes sense. So yeah, it totally makes sense. Anyway, so I hope that you guys have learned a lot from this, chit chat, this interview. So if you're thinking about applying for any scholarship at all, not just the AAD scholarship, you've heard it. You need to start early enough, like four,
Yeah.
5 months before the application opens. Go start, digging into the website, looking for what you want, making sure that this fits your needs. Also check for the clause, or are you returning to the are you supposed to return to your country or not? Are you allowed to stay back? So that you don't go through the hassle knowing fully well that you would like to at least get 1 or 2 years work experience in that country, and then you hear that you have to leave. So make sure you do your research. Make sure you take down all the important information that you've gotten from this video, and then search for that, side by side with the interview, with the scholarship that you desire, so that you have everything, and then go for it. Like, you've heard how it is. Like, it's not as hard as people make it seem. As long as you know what you want, as long as you're determined and you can sell yourself, and you have the documents, you've gone to find your documents and you have them, you can easily get a scholarship. Anyway, this is the point where I expect you guys to say thank you to Dupe. Thank you so much for giving us this amazing insight. It was really, really nice talking to you. And not I, we all wish you the best during your study. And we can't wait to hear your amazing success story. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
I hope I was able to share my insights, share my brain, share my experience, and help you. Yeah.
Mhm. Thank you very much. Thank you.